It's the Daily Doug.
Hey y'all, welcome back to the Daily Doug for what is going to be our Extended Play Lounge, episode number 105. It is the new year. Happy New Year, everybody. It is 2026, and this is our first Extended Play Lounge of the new year, and I'm already making changes. Here's the quick story. I had planned to do my first movie reaction to This Is Spinal Tap and sort of put that out there and see how it went and try something new in the new year. But as I tested my software, I use an HD screen capture software for both my audio and the video that I share in my videos. And when I went to HBO Max, I can view it, I can watch it, and I can screen grab it, but it catches everything but the images. It catches the audio, it catches even the captions, but the screen's completely black. And so until I figure something else out, I decided to put that on the back burner. So I put out a poll with haste yesterday, y'all, and it was only like less than a day of voting. So I apologize if you did not get a chance to vote on this particular poll. But I decided to put up three of some big time albums that were in the top five of all the upvotes that all of the submissions on the master list have gotten. All three of these albums are hugely supported by the community, and y'all have wanted me to listen to each of these for a long time. I put up Pink Floyd, The Division Bell, Jethro Tull, Songs from the Wood, and Gentle Giant, Octopus. And it was a very close vote, y'all. It can't get any closer. When I saw it on the screen, it said that Pink Floyd and Jethro Tull had tied. So I had to download the CSV file. I had to download the actual data and count up the votes. And when I did that, Pink Floyd won by one vote. Just one. So we're listening to some Pink Floyd today, y'all, and I'm really excited about it. However, Jethro Tull fans, it's been a long time since we included Jethro Tull in the Extended Play Lounge. So since it was such a close poll result, and since Songs from the Wood has been hanging around for a long, long time waiting its turn, next time I'll do Songs from the Wood, and we'll fit in Octopus from Gentle Giant, I am sure, this year. But for today, y'all, I think that we are on the right track with Pink Floyd and the Division Bell. It seems oddly appropriate that this unplanned EPL featuring music from Pink Floyd come on the actual 80th anniversary of the birth of Syd Barrett. How about that? That threw me for a loop this morning when I saw that. I'm like, it's Syd Barrett's birthday, and it would have been his 80th birthday. Of course, Syd, one of the co-founders of the band and the main source of inspiration behind the band's tribute to him in Shine On You Crazy Diamond. Yeah, really interesting how that works out, isn't it? So let's get to it. I have heard many of Pink Floyd's albums over the years. Wish You Were Here, I think, is still my favorite. But Dark Side of the Moon is, of course, iconic. Animals I really love. I also love The Wall. I love Metal, and I also really enjoy some of their earlier experimental work, especially on Ummagumma and Atom Heart Mother. It's a really, really interesting collection of sounds from this band, right? That's why a whole, 50 something years later, people are still really avid and listening to their stuff. So I've heard The Wall, and I haven't heard any of the albums after that. So the first album that they released after The Wall in 1979 was The Final Cut in 1983, and that's an album that I still know very little about. It was the last Pink Floyd album with Roger Waters and their first without Richard Wright. And after that, kind of a reversal. They released A Momentary Lapse of Reason in 1987, and Richard Wright came back for that one, but of course, Roger was out of the band by that time. And on that album, I think I only have heard Learning to Fly and On the Turning Away. On the Turning Away, especially. A beautiful song. I've heard that one a few times. So after that is the Division Bell, which is what we're up to today, my friends. It was released in March of 1994. It's their 14th studio album, and it has ended up being their next to last studio effort. Most of the music on this album is written by David Gilmour, who also serves, of course, as our lead guitarist. He's also serving as lead vocalist and doing quite a bit of bass work on this album. His fiance at the time, Polly Sampson, wrote many of the album's lyrics. And Richard Wright comes back, and this would be, sadly, his last Pink Floyd album, as he sadly passed away in 2008. So I'm really, really eager to dive in here, y'all. Of these 11 songs, I think I've only heard High Hopes previously. So this is going to be a bunch of new to me Pink Floyd music. We've got David Gilmour on lead vocals, on guitars, on bass, on keyboards and programming. Richard Wright is on keyboards, lead and backing vocals. We get to hear Richard take a vocal lead here for the first time since I think the Dark Side of the Moon. Nick Mason is on drums and percussion. They are joined by an all-star lineup of backing musicians that helped on this. Guy Pratt on bass, John Caron on keyboards, Dick Perry on some tenor saxophone, Gary Wallace helped on some extra percussion. They've got several backing vocalists, and Michael Kamen came in with some orchestrations that ended up being recorded at Abbey Road. So let's get to it, y'all. One more thing before we start. This album being released in 94, I was in high school at the time. It came about during the height of compact disc, the CD era. And it was originally produced with 11 songs over 66 minutes of music. And I read that the original vinyl version of the album contained edited songs so that they could get it all scrunched down and to fit within the limitations of the vinyl. But yeah, out of these 11 songs, like I said, I've only heard that one, High Hopes, and it's been a few years since I've heard it. So this is going to be a lovely journey for me. Let's get going. And I thank you for being along for the ride with me, y'all. We start off with a song called Cluster 1. It is an instrumental to start out the album, and my research said that there's going to be a sound here that many people caused many people to think that their hi-fis were broken. It's an electromagnetic solar pulse. I'm intrigued. Let's see it and hear it and see what happens. This is Cluster 1, which starts out this album, Division Bell, from Pink Floyd. Here we go. I'm checking my volume just to make sure I don't blow myself out of the water and that I can hear it. Is this thing on, clock? What an interesting way to start an album. But they're known for their interesting soundscapes, As much as they've got the overbearing great guitar solos and all of that epicness, they've thrown me some crazy sounds over the years, too. It sounds like Trixie is playing with my microphone. That's what it sounds like. brighter sound than I expected. It's kind of settled on a C, I think. Yeah. It's like a C add 9 texture. Richard and David playing, you know, I'll play this and you echo it. Do, re. Yeah. Goes to A minor. D. Minor chord on 3. So it resolves to A minor. So if we're in A minor, then that's 1. The D minor. So that's a minor 5 now, the E minor chord. Love it. We arrive on the brightness of C major and it just effortlessly shifts into A minor. Uses the same scale. And there comes Nick, ever so patient and just crafty on the drums, always playing the right part. I'd listen to a whole album of this. Resolve to C. And I like the use of regular piano there. Could have been a synth or anything else. I like the piano sound. This is gonna segue, I think. Yeah, it cuts off. It cuts off. So that's gonna go directly into the next song. Okay, we're off and running. There wasn't a whole lot there. It reminds me of the beginning of Wish You Were Here, where it just kind of sets the scene for a while, right? They love to do that. They love to give us time to emotionally get ready for the, you know, about an hour that's going to come after it. So let's keep going. What Do You Want From Me is the second song. It's co-written by David and Richard, and Polly wrote the lyrics. And David has said that this is a straight ahead Chicago blues tune. So let's see how that goes. What Do You Want From Me? From Pink Floyd. Here we go. So just went to the E. And a lot louder. Really present drums, and there goes the electric guitar. Right out of that. Goes back to the 4. Minor 2. Bum, bum. All the way to flat 6. Back into E minor. It's not quite the typical blues progression, but I like it. So that's a chromatic 3rd. F sharp minor. To A, to B. Deceptive resolution to C, which is the 6. Normally, the F sharp chord would be diminished, but it goes full minor. Yeah. It's a new key. Down to the leading tone to 5. Flat 7. Going to flat 6, a back key. To the 5. 7. That little scale spans a tritone from F sharp to C. When I listen to this album again, I'm not going to stop between those two songs. I think the two songs together would make for one big song that's even better than the sum of both of those parts. And both of those parts are quite good. You know what I mean? They should have just made it all one track. 'Tis the era of CDs. Right? What do you want from me? As you look around this room tonight, settle in your seat and dim the lights. Do you want my blood? Do you want my tears? What do you want? Should I sing until I can't sing anymore? Play these strings till my fingers are raw? He's like, it's hard to live up to your expectations of me. Yeah. That was a cool tune. That was a really cool tune. I'm not even sure what key they went to secondarily. They're in the middle of that. I'll have to catch it next time. Okay? Next up is a song called Poles Apart. Poles. Poles Apart. We're talking about breakdowns in communication in this particular song. And in verse 1, as I read, David is thinking about Sid here and his own role in replacing Sid in the band. Did you know it was all going to go so wrong for you? And did you see it was going to be so right for me? When we get to verse 2, and he starts off with, "Hey, you." I think he's talking about and thinking about Roger and their disillusionment. Hey, you, did you ever realize what you'd become? And did you see that it wasn't only me you were running from? This I gotta hear, y'all. Poles Apart from Pink Floyd. Here we go. Yeah, all that was over a dominant.
Did you know it was all going to go so wrong for you?
Major key.
And did you see it was all going to be so right for me?
Rhythmic and spacious at the same time.
Why did we tell you then you were always the golden boy then, and that you'd never lose that light in your eyes?
Fascinating. They all just kind of doubled that melodic line. Hey, you, Roger.
Did you ever realize what you'd become? And did you see that it wasn't only me you were running from? Did you know all the time, but it never bothered you anyway? Leading the blind while I stared out the steel in your eyes.
Really low vocal in David's range. Cool. They fooled me, were they? What did they do? So minor, 2/5. It's like a demented circus. I'm trying to figure out harmonically Are the circus sounds there because he's talking about people who he thinks are nuts? Like,
The rain fell slow down on all the roofs of uncertainty.
Interesting transition.
I thought of you.
Back into, I think, the regular key.
And the years
That sounds like
alone, the
4.
sadness fell away from me.
Back in D major, right?
And did you know? Did you know?
Did you know?
I never thought that you'd lose that in your eyes.
And that's all the words in this one. We've got about 2 minutes of instrumental outro. How interesting that he's using 4-1 in a major key to describe a complete breakdown in communication and rational behavior. But again, I can listen to David Gilmour play over 1 and 4 for a few hours and not get tired of it. Is that all this is going to be? Just an Amen extension. A plagal extension. And a slow fade out. And the hint of Gulf and seagulls in the background as we finish up. Or does that go straight into Marooned, which is the next one? Maybe it does. So this is also an instrumental. And this one won. Okay, I found this interesting when I read in. Did you know that Pink Floyd only won 1 Grammy for the entire life of the band? I didn't. I also didn't realize that it was on this song, an instrumental called Marooned. It won a Grammy for the best rock instrumental performance. I guess in 95. How about that? So it's about 5.5 minutes. Let's see how that previous tune rolls into Marooned from Pink Floyd. Here we go. Yeah, so the seagulls and the shore continue, and we've got some ISS footage, looks like. Talk about Marooned. The people up on the ISS. Descending thirds. And then resolving, hanging out on that 9th. So B minor down to G. You know what's interesting? It's in the same meter, in the same key, similar tempo, and quite a similar progression to Comfortably Numb. Yet it sounds completely new and not connected to that, right? There's so many contours and feelings that you can put into melodically moving over a diatonic progression like this. And Nick with just the right feel. So are these scenes of evacuated cities? Ghost towns? I'm looking at the video, the images in the video, and I'm thinking Russia, the commentary on the fall of the Soviet Union, would make sense for the mid-90s to be thinking back on that. Changes. It goes back up to the 6. Minor 5. Which resolves us back into B. A little bit of a different take on that progression there. We don't learn who that person is. Y'all, if you've seen that before, or if you've lived with this for a long time, what are your thoughts on that piece? Of course, beautiful. Beautiful. Give him a Grammy. Give David a Grammy for playing the guitar. You know, come on now. Give Rick a Grammy for doing that. Give Nick a Grammy for just coming in right at the right time. Come on. I really love how they've used these instrumentals almost as bookends. One introducing a piece and one kind of coming at, to bookend a piece, to come at the conclusion. makes me curious for what's going to happen next on the album, because that seems like a natural end of a major section. You know, we start with an instrumental, we have a few tunes, and then we end with an instrumental, an extended instrumental. And what happens next? It's a song called A Great Day for Freedom. David and Polly wrote this one, recalling, guess what, the major political upheavals of the era. And right, the Berlin Wall had come down, democracy was spreading, the Soviet Union was no more. But as they point out in this tune, there were still great injustices that were happening and trying to be worked out, especially like in Yugoslavia, what was then Yugoslavia, right? And what I think they end up doing, because the chorus is really personal, but the verses are really sort of world-based. So I think that they're going to be juxtaposing or contrasting the chaos and the happenings and breakdown in communications maybe in the world versus what's happening in their own personal life with their own personal struggles. So let's get to it. A Great Day for Freedom from Pink Floyd. Here we go.
On the day the wall came down, they threw the
right into it.
To the ground, and with glasses high, we raised a cry for freedom had arrived.
3.
On the day the wall came down,
On the day the wall came
the
down.
ship and fools had finally run aground. Promises lit up the night.
That's the 5.
I dreamed you had left my
Major 4. Fascinating.
not even cry remain.
Major 1. They're in the same key, they just changed it from minor to major. 2, 3.
Even though you needed,
It's like a...
it was clear that I could not do a thing.
Wow. And even though you needed me, it was clear that I could not do a thing for you.
Now life
And it resolves back into the minor 1. It's the same 5 chord for the minor key and the major key. They go there, and they can choose which way they go.
that even with regret cannot be undone. Now frontiers drift like desert sands, while nations wash their bloody
Nations
hands.
wash their bloodied hands.
Loyalty of history in shades of gray.
This is fascinating.
I won't
And then it goes to the major 4 chord to set up the major key. I woke to the sound of drums, the music played, the morning sun streamed in. What a juxtaposition. I turned and looked at you. The residues, all but the bitter residues slipped away. Amen to that. And all but the bitter residues slip away. I think it's the wish of an eternal optimist like David. With time and consideration and better communication, his personal demons ended up slipping away. Why can't that happen in the rest of the world? He's got to talk. It can only be that simple. Why can't it be that simple? That's what I feel from him. And this. And another 2 in a row extended 4/1 guitar solos. No, the previous one was descending. We heard one before, but another one. Both in major keys, right? Really slow fade out. How about that for a song? It was an interesting time to be a teenager, you know, because, you know, my dad is Vietnam era age, and I kind of won the lottery being born in the late 70s because, you know, by the time I came of age, it was between major conflicts, and I didn't have to worry as much, you know. But man, I hear so much optimism from David in that song, and it kind of lifts me up on a day like today, January 6th. It lifts me up a little bit. This is good. This is good. So let's keep going, my friends. Wearing the Inside Out is next. The lyrics are by a person named Anthony Moore, who I don't know. But the music is credited to Richard Wright, songwriting credit for Sir Richard. And he's going to do a lead vocal. And the fact that it's another Richard Wright lead vocal means it's also the last lead vocal on a Pink Floyd album from Richard, but this is one I have not yet heard. I am eager to hear what he came up with when he wrote Wearing the Inside Out. Here we go. Interesting attack. There's our saxophone, by the way. It's like a... beautiful. To the 5. So 2 to 4. Major 1. Yeah, 2 to 4 to 1 to 5. It's interesting. He's talking from first-person perspective, and the backing vocals are narrating what is actually happening. That's depressing. Extinguished by light, I turn on the night where it's darkness with an empty smile. My nervous system is all awry. Yeah, that's what it feels like. Megan and I have talked about it like the upside down. I'm wearing the upside down. So David takes over the lead vocal. Look at him now, he's paler somehow, but he's coming around.
He's starting to shock. It's been so long since he spoke. Well, he can have the words right from my mouth. And with these words, I can see clear through the clouds that cover me. Just
They offer their words to him, and with these words he can now see clear through the clouds. Just give it time and then speak my name. He's come out of it. Now we can hear ourselves again. That's cool.
for the day when all the clouds have blown away. I'm with you now.
Is there anybody better to slow groove percussively than Nick Mason? I mean, come on.
Ourselves again.
Once again, we get about a minute and a half to hang out with them as they play us out. Now it's just a minor one chord down to flat 7, just back and forth. I lost track of where we were. Relative major. And I think that's where they started. It's got some darkness in there, y'all, but overall, I get optimism from Richard, too. Look at him now. He's paler somehow, but he's coming around. He's starting to choke. It's been so long since he spoke. Well, he can have the words right from my mouth. And then Richard says, and with these words, I can see clear through the clouds that covered me. Just give it time, then speak my name. Now we can hear ourselves again. I've learned this in my own therapy, y'all. It's weird to think about it. You know, what can just talk therapy do? It can do wonders. Just speaking with somebody else who's hearing you, you know, can bring, just the words can bring you through an emotional and even physical roadblock. You know, it's happened for me. The last chorus is really fascinating too. Richard sings, I'm holding out for the day when all the clouds have blown away. I'm with you now, can speak your name. Now we can hear ourselves again. So it's coming a little bit more back from that last verse. And meanwhile, the backing vocalists are singing, he's standing on the threshold, caught in fiery anger and hurled into the furnace, he'll curse the place. He's torn in all directions, and still the screen is flickering, waiting for the flames to break. That's what it feels like it's been for me this past year. I've been dealing with quite a lot of internal turmoil, emotional anger, at the sources of the trauma that I've been going through, you know, and working through. So, gosh, Richard, I understand that piece. I understand the saxophone's place in it. David's guitar tone, I mean, lovely as ever, but it had a little bit of a strident edge on it, you know, more than what we've heard earlier in the album. Really compelling. Really compelling. I'm going to move on, friends. The next song is called Take It Back, and this was actually the first single that was released from the album. Apparently, this one has some sonic departures from the band's more normal, traditional sound, including some atmospheric guitar that's going to have some heavily processed effects. That's what I read. The lyrics are written from the point of view of a dysfunctional relationship, and it's an allegory for how humans are treating the planet. When was this released? 31 years ago? How humans are still treating the planet. Let's listen to it. Take It Back from Pink Floyd. Here we go. Yeah, with the delay on that, almost sounds like The Edge is playing guitar instead of David Gilmour. One to 4 to 1 in a major key. Yeah, it can be a U2 song. Push her to the limit to see if she will break. mind the sound. I think it's a lovely sounding tune. And it gives a nice kind of swerve into this territory on the album. And it reflects the sound of that time too. Also the second or third time that we've heard a full descending fourth progression, a Mixolydian based progression from flat 7 to 4 to 1, but a lot of 4 to 1s too. And those types of things keep and sustain tonic. It creates a safe place. It creates a sustainable home, right? There's no leading tone in any of those chords. And it gives that sense, that innate sense of stability, of interesting video too. All great. But it gives that sense of home. You know, we're not moving to the dominant and moving this way or this way, and we're not really playing any chromaticism that moves us from one key to another. It's very unlike prog, most prog that you hear, you know. It's just reinforcing that innate need for connection, which I think is one of the underlying themes from throughout the album. The need for communication, the need for connection, meaningful connection, so that our conflicts, our differences can be better mitigated, right? Cool. It's great how art can do that. So next up is a song called Coming Back to Life. And this one is solely written by David Gilmour, music and lyrics. And it's about his wife, Polly. And it, again, we're going to get a positive and optimistic worldview, as well as, from what I read here, three distinct solos that we're going to hear in this song from David Gilmour. So let's get to it, friends. Coming Back to Life from Pink Floyd. Here we go. Cool. Just connects right there. Now, is that 1 or 4? Beautiful. C major. got 7 to 6 to 5 to 1.
Where were you when I was burned and broken? While the days slip by from my window watching. And where were you when I was hurt and I was helpless? 'Cause the things you say and the things you do surround me. While you were hanging yourself on someone else's words, dying to believe in what you heard, I was staring straight into the shining sun.
Huh.
Lost in thought and lost in time. While the
The backing keyboard part surprised me that they would go to a sound like that in a pattern like that. But it's working for me.
Outside the rain fell dark and slow, while I pondered on this dangerous but irresistible pastime. I took a heavenly ride through our silence. I knew the moment had arrived.
Nice.
The killing the past, coming back to life.
Killing the past and coming back to life. Huh. Nice. Okay. Guitar solo number 2. And a different style. Still a nice clean tone. Same key.
I took a heavenly ride through our silence. I knew the waiting had begun. Headed straight into the shining sun.
Radio-friendly tune. Actually, a lot of radio-friendly tunes on this album compared to other Pink Floyd albums that I've heard. Why keep that? Interesting. Why keep that in the song? What do you just put your guitar down weird? That's interesting. I don't know. That stuff always sticks in my head. Like, why did they do that? To make me talk about it, I guess. I love that little tune, y'all. I took a heavenly ride through our silence. I knew the moment had arrived for killing the past and coming back to life. And then when the chorus comes back, I took a heavenly ride through our silence, and I knew the waiting had begun and headed straight into the shining sun. Where were you? Where were you when all these bad things were happening in my life? When I needed you, where were you? Where were you? Now that you're here, let's come back to life. Yeah, I like that. I like that quite a bit. Okay, so the next song is called Keep Talking. And here, this is interesting, y'all. We get a vocal cameo from Stephen Hawking. Stephen Hawking. I had to check. Yeah, that's Stephen Hawking. So his contribution was taken from a television advertisement that had aired in the UK, and David had seen it, and it was moving to him. And from what I read, he reached out to whoever the people were that had the recording and the rights to use it and all that, and he said, I want to include this in a song. And apparently they said yes. So we're going to get to hear a little bit of Stephen Hawking talking, and David Gilmour singing, and everybody else playing, and it's going to be fascinating. I've never heard this before. The song is called Keep Talking, and it goes like this. Here we go. Sounds like E minor.
For millions of years, mankind lived just like the animals. Then something happened, which unleashed the power of our imagination. We learned to talk.
There's a silence surrounding me. I can't seem to think straight. I sit in the corner, and no one can bother me. I think I should speak now. Why won't you talk to me? I can't seem to speak now. You'll never talk to me. My words won't come.
And the backing vocalists have such a palpable role throughout the album, don't they? They're like the voice of his conscience.
Why won't you talk to me? But I can't show my weakness. You never talk to me. I sometimes wonder, what are you thinking? Where do we go from here? What are you feeling?
It doesn't have to be like this. All we need to do is make sure we keep talking.
I'm with you, David. I love how the intensity is just ever so consistently getting more and more in your face and global in its sound. Just all encompassing. It's grown from this. Sometimes it's hard to talk. Sometimes you don't have the words. Oh, he's using a squawk box. When he can't use his words, his guitar is his language.
It doesn't have to be like this.
It's not meant to be like this. I'm with Stephen Hawking.
All we need to do is make sure we keep talking.
As they're talking, the two heads are coming together, right? But it's also making a face, a singular face, looking forward, right? You see the face in the negative space looking straight ahead, right? It's oppositional forces, but if they can make it work and keep talking, they can come to a singular, rational understanding of each other, the world around them, all that, and we can get some shit done. It doesn't have to be like this, as Stephen Hawking said. David, that, you know, if I would have seen that commercial back in the day, like I said, y'all, I was in high school during this time. I would have stood up and cheered. It would have reached me, and it reached me here. That was wonderful. Really, really wonderful. Okay, we move on, friends. The next song is called Lost for Words, and this is a song that is widely believed to be the band's and David's parting shot at Roger Waters. So I am quite curious to hear this one. It is called Lost for Words, and of course, it's by Pink Floyd. Here we go. Another 4-to-1 in a major key. In C. Great lyrics. Flat 7 to 6. It's like we're in a new key. Huh.
Can you see your days blighted by darkness?
No, they went back. They went back to C.
Beat your fists on the floor. Stuck in a world of isolation while the ivy grows over the door.
I found this interesting.
So I opened my door to my enemies.
I opened my door to my enemies.
Ask, could we wipe the slate
Can we start
clean?
over?
But they tell me to please go fuck myself.
You know you just can't win. You have to believe that happened. Otherwise, why would he write it in a song that over? Right? And I love that there's no hard edge to the instrumentation of this at all. In fact, he's playing a lovely line with all diatonic chords in a major key on an acoustic guitar. That's going to play us out. There's parts of that right, and that's going to segue directly into High Hopes. High Hopes is the one that I have heard previously, but I was going to say that last song, it could have been a Jackson Browne song. It could have been a Tom Petty song. It could have been a Bruce Springsteen song. That was just a straight ahead storyteller rock and roll tune. And I absolutely loved it. I loved the pointedness of the message and the language delivered in the loveliest package that he can possibly put it in, you know? Hmm. So all of those, y'all, all of those 10 songs, those were all first time listens for me. I like this album. It's a very lovely listen. There's a lot of just easy sounds on it. So it's a comforting listen. More comforting than a lot of Pink Floyd albums, but just throughout, just kind of this through thread of the the call for communication and language and talking and connection and optimism through that in the midst of all of the shit that's going on personally and around the world, you know? So it leads up to High Hopes. And this was the the second single that was released from the album, and the music is by David, and the lyrics are by Polly. And as we recall, this is a song about nostalgia, looking back, taking stock of events in one's life, maybe having some regrets, maybe having some uh, joys, mixed emotional palette as we reach back here. And as we recall, as he sings about Cambridge with its cathedral, the Ely Cathedral that we're going to see in the video, that's where Sid and Roger and David all grew up, if I remember right. So I first heard this one in a fan favorites video, and then I shared it on YouTube in May of 2023, and I don't think I've heard it since then. Y'all, it's been over 2 years since I've heard it, and I'm really looking forward to finishing out this album and hearing it with all of you. It's High Hopes, and it's from Pink Floyd. Here we go. And that bell continues us in C. And this is even made more poignant because it came from such a beautiful C major, and now it's flipped to C minor. And that steady bell is now on the offbeats.
Beyond the horizon of the place we lived when we were young, in a world of magnets and miracles, our thoughts strayed constantly and without boundary. The ringing of the division bell had begun. Along the long road and on down the causeway, do they still meet there?
As heavy a percussive sound from Nick on almost the entire album coming in.
Followed in our footsteps, running before time took our dreams away. Leaving the myriad small creatures trying to tie us to the ground, to a life consumed by slow decay. The grass was greener, the light was brighter, with friends around us.
5, 6,
The
7,
nights of wonder,
3, 4, 5.
looking beyond the embers of bridges glowing behind us, to a glimpse of how green it was on the other side. Steps taken forwards, but sleepwalking back again, dragged by the force of some inner tide.
The open interval is a fourth,
At a
which
higher
is a perfect sound, but it also has
altitude,
a slight dissonance to it because it's not a third or a fifth. When we're building all of our chords in thirds and fifths, that's why it has that cutting, kind of exotic sound to it. We're on the move. Nick Mason knows exactly what to play. It's like they moved to the 3, the minor 3, which is from the major key though. Yeah, they were in E minor to F from C's major key, and now they're back in C minor.
encumbered forever by desire and ambition. There's a hunger still unsatisfied.
I think this is my favorite
Our weary
on the album. It
eyes
has the
still
most gravity
stray
to
the
it.
horizon.
And it's my favorite vocal from him, I think.
We've been so many times. The grass was greener. The light was brighter. The taste was sweet.
Yeah, those sound like the same progression, but they're not. That one's coming up the top tetrachord. And that's 3.
With friends surrounded.
So that's Sol, La,
The
Te.
dawn mist glowing.
And that goes to
The water flowing.
interesting. Using almost every
The endless
diatonic chord throughout there. We're spreading the power. Yeah. All of the emotions. I think that's why it gets us. It's joyous and it's melancholy at the same time. Memories of what was, hopes for what could have been. It's one of the later Pink Floyd albums, and even it has celebrated its 30th anniversary. I really enjoyed that album, y'all. I really did. There's nothing flashy. There's nothing on it about the need to prove anything, the need to prove your worth. It's just, by this point they've done that, you know. So on their reputation and their past work, we'll give them a shot. What do you want to say right now? David and friends, what do you want to say? And they're talking about, okay, in the aftermath of these real upheavals in the world, we've got a shot, you know. Democracy's on the march, imperialism is taking a beating, the wall has come down. Let's talk, let's communicate, let's get together, let's use this burgeoning technology and let's make a better world. I don't know if it feels more wishful than optimistic in 2026. But it's a wish that I still really identify with. It makes sense to me. Um, it's where I find hope, and and that's why I think that last song is so just really perfect, because it wraps up all of the feelings that you experience throughout the album, as well as the sounds themselves. But it allows you to feel all of that and kind of give you time to process it and come out the other side, with, you know, something renewed. David Gilmour. Yeah. Richard is wonderful on the album. Nick is wonderful and understated on the album. It really feels like it's David's project. It was weird sometimes. I almost said it's by David Gilmour. No, it's by Pink Floyd. It could be almost a David Gilmour solo album. And that's okay. It really doesn't matter to me, honestly, y'all. The humanity that these folks brought to this really lift me up today. It really, really does. And so for that, I'm really thankful that we got to listen to this today. And the fact that January 6th is the 80th anniversary of, today is the 80th anniversary of Syd Barrett's birth, it just makes it all the more kind of serendipitous, doesn't it? We've been going for a while, haven't we? Yeah, it's a little bit of a long album. I was surprised by how many versions of this album there's been. There's been the original release in 94. It got a reissue in 2011. Then it got a 20th anniversary deluxe edition in 2014. And that was the first time that they did the full release of the album on vinyl and not some edited or truncated songs to fit before. So that was 2014. And then they released it again in 2016 on their own Pink Floyd Records label. And then there was a 25th anniversary double LP that was released in 2019. And the videos, the versions that we heard today, were released on YouTube as part of the celebration of the 30th anniversary of the album, now in 2024. coming up on 2 years ago. So the album itself has done well for the band over the years. It's not one of their huge iconic releases, but it's been a real solid album for them. And they supported this album with a big time tour, the Division Bell tour, which went throughout North America and throughout Europe. And that still very popular Pulse live album and DVD and all of that arose out of these Division Bell performances. And I've enjoyed watching some of that Pulse footage over the years as well. So, there you go, friends. Extended Play Lounge episode 105, The Division Bell from Pink Floyd. This was a surprise. A surprise. I wasn't planning on getting to it, but it was a real pleasure to listen to this today. So great that Pink Floyd gets to come back to the Extended Play Lounge. I welcome them anytime because they always provide a good time for all of us, don't they? So, like I said, next time, I do believe that since there was so much interest in it and it got so many upvotes for the master list, that we're going to go with Songs from the Wood from Jethro Tull. So look for that one later on in January. But for today, my friends, it has been my privilege to start out 2026 with our very first EPL of the new year with some Pink Floyd. Awesome time. Thanks, y'all, for being with me. We will see you next time on another edition. Can I say that right? On another edition of the Daily Doug.